Well, we're leaving this beautiful Le Méridien Hotel here in Amman, Jordan, and we're loading up our bus, getting ready to go, heading down to Bethany beyond the Jordan where Jesus was baptized, and then across into Israel today.
Yeah. Oh, it's just iMovie.
Good.
Our last day in Jordan, we begin in Amman and we drive to the Jordan River. And you can see the spot there, Bethany beyond the Jordan, which is the actual site of Jesus' baptism.
Say 8.
Yeah.
8. So,
I never knew the difference.
You never knew the difference.
So we drove out of the mountains of Amman down into the Jordan Valley and came to the authentic baptismal site of Jesus. We stopped there, everybody went to the bathroom. See here it says baptismal site. Jesus was actually born on the Jordan side. This is a map of the area. This is the hill of Elijah, where Elijah the prophet was taken up into heaven from this spot right here. Here's a picture of him and a mosaic going up, and there's also John Paul II. This is a new Catholic church that's being built, and we went inside to take a look. And another thing it says in the Gospels about John, you don't know this yet because you haven't driven it, but Jerusalem is about 25 miles in that direction, and you are right now on the lowest place on the face of the earth. If Mount Everest is the highest, this is the absolute lowest place on the face of the earth. You're more than 1,000 feet below sea level here. And so when Jesus was baptizing, it says all of Jerusalem came down to hear him. That means that they traveled 25 miles walking, but also Jerusalem is 3,000 feet above sea level, down to over 1,000 feet below sea level. So that means they descended 4,000 feet. When they went back, they had to climb up into the mountains. That's why it says up to Jerusalem. Not only, it says all of Jerusalem came down to hear him. So you understand the impact that John made. It wasn't just a few Christians or a few Jews came down to see this crazy guy that looks like Elijah. This was all of Jerusalem came down. And Jerusalem, during the Passover times, would swell up to 250,000 people. And so they all came down. That's how big of an impact John was making when you figure that the whole city of Jerusalem came down here to see him.
Acknowledging our need of God, we committing ourselves to our Catholic faith, we might each in our own lives, wherever the Lord has placed us, we might each live our lives as people, men and women of faith. We might be witnesses to God's enduring mercy.
We're having Mass at the Jordan River on the Jordan side, at the very section of the river where Jesus was baptized on this side.
We've been called to be his beloved sons and daughters. Just bow our heads and acknowledge before the Lord that Christ have mercy. Christ have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Let us pray. In baptism, three things happen, as I tell our children. We were wiped clean of original sin. We were infused with grace, the very presence of God, His love, His mercy in our lives. And we were incorporated into His church, the body of Christ. And so as we renew our baptisms, I ask all of you, do you again reject sin so as to live in the freedom of God's children? I do. This is our faith. This is the faith of the Catholic Church, and we are proud to profess it in Christ Jesus the Lord. And now I will renew, having renewed our baptismal vows, I will sprinkle you now with water from the Jordan.
We came down this path to the point where there was a tributary and a pool and the actual place where Jesus was baptized. Right here, you can see the pool and the steps coming down from the church. Those steps were marble steps in the early centuries, and pilgrims said there were marble steps going down to the very place where Jesus was baptized by John. Place in the river, although you don't see the river because it was a tributary of the river, and the river changes course over time. This marks the place where 3 churches were. From those 3 churches, why would they build churches here? Because this is a segment of the Jordan River where Jesus was baptized. And these churches were built, and right there, we saw it from the other side a minute ago. I'll show it to you again. Is right down those steps is where the little pool was that John the Baptist was baptizing. Why not just baptize in the Jordan River? Because it's deep and the water's flowing and it's muddy and you'd slip and fall in. This is a very practical place to baptize along the Jordan River.
They did an aerial footage of the river. The river is this shape, and they found this little tributary, and then someone was talking about the marble steps. So they started digging here. And they found the church. And they found, as been mentioned by travelers and historians and people in the past, that it is a small place where Jesus went down to the river.
Okay, here's our group with Elias, our fearless guide. We're on the Jordan side of the Jordan River. There we are. In 5 days, we'll be over there. That's Israel. This is Jordan. This is Israel, because the Jordan River is the boundary line. And in 5 days, we'll be over there renewing baptismal vows.
Now, the level of the water is not that high, but it's good enough for Jordan and Israel for irrigation. But a few years ago, if you look at that side of the wall, there is a kind of a wooden piece that showed the level of the water at one time, okay? And it destroyed the whole thing here, and they had to build things again. Thank you. In the countries from Jordan.
We're looking across, there's the Bedouin camps.
Also,
All along here,
they
the
do
Bedouins.
fish tilapia.
Way on the other side, we're looking at the city of Jericho.
In this
And in between us and the city of Jericho on the far side is the Jordan River. So we are now heading up to Sheikh Hussein Bridge to cross over to Israel. So those are the mountains of Judea. Soon there'll be the mountains of Samaria up this way. There's Jericho right over there, and the Jordan River is in between. We drove about an hour and a half north in Jordan towards the crossing point into Israel. As you can see here, the Jordan Valley crossing, and here we are coming up to the place where we leave Jordan and go through the checkpoint into Israel. And here we are at the immigration office and doing all of our passport and formalities. And there's the royal family. And then some of us went into the duty-free shop, and then we said goodbye to our guide. Everybody give it one last hand.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Elias.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Janet. Bless you.
He's like Moses. He brought us to the Jordan River. Now I'm Joshua. I'm taking you across.
He's taking over. You have to trust him.
Well, we're looking back across the Jordan Valley at Jordan, where we just came from. And all the way down there is Amman and the baptismal site. And now we are in Israel. Here we go up to Tiberias. So we've arrived in Tiberias. The other group is landing at the airport as we speak. They're landing, and we have got another bus to pick them up, and we'll join tonight at the Ron Beach Hotel in Tiberias. We arrived at our exceptional hotel, the Ron Beach, right on the Sea of Galilee. We got there just as it was getting dark. See the nice sign, Welcome Steve and Janet Ray, above the door. And here's the lobby. Very comfortable place, free Wi-Fi, great food, as you'll see here. Well, we've arrived at the Ron Beach and everybody's enjoying their dinner. We still have 24 people on the way en route. Hello, enjoying it?
Yeah.
Did you have enough food?
I love it.
Good. This is Claude. He always takes good care of us, Claude, he does. And our group is eating here at the Ron Beach. It's excellent meals. Wine's always included, of course. You see Father there has his glass of wine as he's talking with folks. And there's Shiro. Hello, Shiro.
Yes, hi. Hi, Steve.
Enough food for you?
Plenty. It makes me happy with the fish.
Thank you. Good. Shiro's a lot of fun. We got all these different foods, and you can get fresh turkey here that they cut for you, and breads. And then here's the desserts. Excellent desserts. And this is soy ice cream, and you'd never know it when you taste it. It's excellent. And the whole salads are over here. Everybody say, wow, how do we decide what to eat? There's so much to choose from. So here's our group. This is half of our group here. We just arrived from Jordan, and we're waiting for the arrival of the rest of them in a short time. Fishing boat going out tonight, fishing on the Sea of Galilee, just like Peter, Andrew, James, and John. I did that one night with 2 Jewish fishermen. It's quite an experience.